You think logic wins arguments. You think if you just present enough evidence, if you just articulate the facts clearly enough, the other person will bow to the truth. You are wrong. Truth is a luxury for the naive. In the real world, an argument is not a search for facts. It is a battle for the frame. The frame is the invisible boundary that dictates what is being discussed, who is the judge, and who is the defendant. The moment you accept someone else's premises, you have already lost, regardless of how right you are. Picture the scene. You are in a heated discussion. Someone says, "Why are you always so defensive?" Your brain, desperate to be seen as a good person, immediately scrambles to prove them wrong. "I'm not defensive," you say. "I'm just trying to explain that." Stop. You are dead. In that split second, you accepted their frame. You accepted that the topic of conversation is your defensiveness. You accepted that they are the psychologist and you are the patient. It does not matter what you say next. You are operating inside their reality. And in their reality, you are the one who is broken. Machiavelli understood that power doesn't belong to the one with the better point. It belongs to the one who defines the reality of the room. To win, you must never defend. You must redefine. Most people are reactive. They operate on a biological trigger that equates disagreement with a threat to survival. They hear a challenge and their pulse quickens. Their ego screams to be heard. They scramble for facts, dates, and logic, like a soldier trying to find his sword after the enemy has already slit his throat. This is a biological failure. When you react, you signal to the other person's nervous system that they are the alpha. You are providing them with the resistance they need to feel powerful. Conflict is energy. If you push back, you feed the fire. But the outlier, the Machiavellian mind, knows a different way. He knows that the person who asks the questions holds the leash. He knows that the person who explains is the person who is losing. We need to perform an autopsy on the structure of an argument. Every argument has a judge and a defendant. The judge asks the questions. The judge assigns the labels. The judge sits back and observes. The defendant answers. The defendant justifies. The defendant sweats. Society has conditioned you to be the defendant. From the time you were a child explaining why you are late for class, to the employee explaining why the report is delayed, you have been trained to seek the approval of the questioner. You believe that if your answer is good enough, the judge will let you go. This is the slave mindset. To control the frame, you must simply refuse the role of defendant and seize the role of judge. How? By realizing that you do not owe anyone an answer. Ever. When someone attacks you, they're handing you a frame. It is usually a heavy, ugly frame. You don't care about this project. You're being selfish. You're incompetent. The amateur tries to break the frame by arguing against it. I do care. I'm not selfish. The master simply ignores the frame and hands back a new one. This is called the meta-frame. You stop talking about the content of their accusation and you start talking about the interaction itself. They say, "You're being incredibly difficult." You look at them with zero emotion and say, "It's interesting that you get so emotional when things don't go exactly your way. Do you see the shift?" Suddenly, we are not talking about me being difficult. We are talking about your emotional stability. I have taken the spotlight off myself and shined it directly into your eyes. I have become the judge. This requires you to detach from the need to be right. Being right is an ego trap. Do you want to be right, or do you want to win? They are rarely the same thing. The person who needs to be right will argue for hours, getting exhausted, frustrated, and drained, only to have the other person walk away thinking, "Wow, he's so insecure." The person who wants to win controls the emotional tone. He doesn't care about the facts because he knows the facts don't matter if the frame is lost. If a man accuses you of lying, and you spend 20 minutes proving you told the truth, you look like a liar. Honest men don't panic when accused. They laugh, they dismiss, they view the accusation as absurd. Your reaction tells the world more about your guilt than your words ever could. Let's discuss the most lethal weapon in frame control, the vacuum of silence. In an argument, silence is usually interpreted as defeat. This is false. Silence is a void, and the human brain is terrified of voids. When someone throws a verbal grenade at you, an insult, a false accusation, a baiting question, let it sit on the floor. Don't pick it up. Don't throw it back. Just stare. Look at the bridge of their nose. Let 3, 4, 5 seconds pass. Do not blink. In that silence, a chemical reaction happens in their brain. They expected resistance. They expected you to jump. When you don't, their reality creates a glitch. They start to doubt the power of their attack. Usually, they will start talking again to fill the silence. They will qualify their statement. They will backpedal. I mean, not that you're always difficult, but just right now, they are negotiating against themselves. You haven't said a word, and they are already losing ground. You have used the pressure of the void to crush their confidence. But sometimes, silence is not enough. Sometimes you must speak. When you do, you must use the Aikido of the mind. This is the concept of agree and amplify. This destroys the frame by making it ridiculous. If someone attacks you with a label, do not fight the label. Wear it. Wear it so aggressively that it becomes a costume. They say, "You are so arrogant." The weak man says, "No, I'm confident." The dangerous man says, "You're right." And it's exhausting being this perfect, but someone has to do it. You say this with a smirk. You say it with the energy of a parent playing with a child. What have you done? You have agreed with them, which removes their resistance, but you have amplified it to the point of absurdity, which mocks their judgment. You have shown that their opinion of you is a toy. There is a level of frame control that borders on gaslighting, but in self-defense, it is simply reorienting reality. It is called the fog. When someone is relentless, listing your faults, attacking your character, you become fog. You offer no resistance. You agree with the facts, but deny the emotional impact. You forgot to take out the trash. You're lazy. You never help. The fog response: I did forget the trash. It's certainly possible I could help more. You speak in a monotone. You give them nothing to grab onto. You admit the small truth. I forgot the trash. But you ignore the big lie. I am lazy. When you don't fight back, the attacker exhausts themselves. They are punching mist. They swing, and eventually they fall over from their own exertion. You remain standing, untouched, unbothered, preserving your energy for things that actually matter. This is not about being a bully. It is about refusing to be a victim. Every day, people are trying to pull you into their reality, their drama, and their insecurities. They want you to play a role in their play. They need a villain, or a scapegoat, or a savior. If you aren't careful, you will spend your entire life as a character in someone else's script. Controlling the frame is how you reclaim your life. It is how you signal to the world that you are the architect, not the scenery. It is the difference between the player and the NPC. The NPC reacts to code. The player writes the code. As you move through the world, remember, the person who cares the least holds the most power. This sounds cold, but it is the physics of socialization. If you are desperate to win the argument, you have already lost the frame, because your stability depends on their agreement. You are begging them to agree with you so you can feel okay. The true Machiavellian doesn't need the other person to say you're right. He only needs them to realize that their attack has no target. He remains untouched, sovereign, and silent. He knows that in the end, the person who screams the loudest is the one who is not being heard. The person who whispers is the one everyone leans in to listen to. So here is the test. The next time you feel the heat rise, the next time someone challenges your competence or your character, freeze. Catch the urge to explain. Feel it in your throat. It will feel like burning, and swallow it. Do not let it out. Look them in the eye, take a breath, and ask a question, or agree and amplify, or simply say nothing. Watch their face. You will see if you are ready to stop being a player in other people's games and start being the one who sets the rules, then you understand what is at stake. The information I've given you today is the foundation, but the true depth of frame manipulation goes much deeper than what the surface can hold. There are linguistic patterns and subliminal triggers that can dismantle a person's ego without them even realizing they are under attack. Most will watch this and forget. They will go back to arguing, back to explaining, back to suffering. The few who recognize the power of the frame will act. Subscribe to join the circle of those who see the world as it truly is. But if you are ready to master the architecture of the mind, the join button is your gateway to the architect level. The videos there are not for the public. They are for the operators. The choice is yours. Stay a puppet or become the one who holds the strings. Consider the vocal tonality of the plea versus the command. Most people, when stressed, pitch their voice up at the end of a sentence. This is called upspeak, and it signals a question even when you are making a statement. It subconsciously tells the listener, I am unsure. Please confirm I am right. The master of the frame does the opposite. He uses the downward inflection. He finishes his sentence by dropping the pitch. I am not doing that. It sounds like a door slamming shut. It signals finality. It signals that the topic is not up for negotiation. When you speak with a downward inflection, you bypass the other person's logical brain and speak directly to their reptilian brain, which recognizes a superior animal. You are not asking for permission to exist. You are stating the laws of your universe. Next, observe the geometry of the interaction. In a conflict, the person who leans in is the person who is chasing. The person who leans back is the person who is evaluating. When they get angry and lean forward, invading your space to intimidate you, do not recoil. But do not lean in either. Lean back. Relax your shoulders. Open your chest. By expanding your body while they compress and tense theirs, you are signaling that you are comfortable in the chaos they have created. You are the spectator. They are the performer. This subtle shift in body language screams that you are not threatened. And if you are not threatened, their weapon has failed. There is nothing more disconcerting to an aggressor than a target that looks bored by the threat of violence. There is a technique used by interrogators called the burden shift. Amateur arguers accept the burden of proof. If someone says, "You're a bad friend," the amateur says, "No, I'm not. I did this and this." You are working for them. You are sweating to produce evidence. Stop it. Shift the burden. Look at them and ask, what specific evidence are you using to come to that conclusion? Now they have to work. Now they have to think. Usually they can't. They were operating on emotion, not logic. By demanding they intellectualize their anger, you force them out of their emotional brain and into their logical brain, which cools them down and exposes the emptiness of their attack. You have turned the tables without raising your voice. You are no longer on trial. Their logic is. You must also master the art of the social scan. When someone is ranting, trying to dominate the frame with volume and speed, do not lock eyes with them in a stare down. That is combat, and combat validates them. Instead, disconnect your eyes. Slowly look them up and down. Look at their shoes. Look at the wall behind them. Check your fingernails. Then return to their eyes. This behavior signals high-status boredom. It tells them that their outburst is not the most interesting thing in the room. It makes them feel small, like a child throwing a tantrum in a grocery store. It triggers a deep insecurity. Am I boring him? Am I looking stupid? The moment they wonder if they look stupid, their frame shatters. They stop attacking you and start trying to repair their own image. Finally, understand the power of time dilation. Anxious people rush. They fear that if they don't get the words out now, they will be interrupted. They talk fast, they stumble, they interrupt. The sovereign mind operates on its own clock. When you are challenged, slow down. Speak at half the speed you think is normal. Pause in the middle of sentences. Force them to wait for your next word. By controlling the tempo of the conversation, you control the heartbeat of the interaction. You are demonstrating that you are not afraid of the silence, and you are not afraid of their reaction. You are forcing them to synchronize with your time, and the one who controls the time controls the reality. They are rushing to meet you. You are standing still, waiting for them to arrive.